generally that's what that discussion is about. How economy, how politics, how services, and like
even society in general.
society, and how things are unavailable, also how all these things have negatively impacted esports. And even for guys who've tried to like have their tournaments or to try get people together, these extra factors are always pushing people down, and it always kills the progress. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone has anything they would like to start on with before I start rambling about the situation.
Maybe I can start.
Go ahead, man.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's KRW King 101.
Yo.
So, yeah, like what 4 years wasted was saying, like, since we're all Zimbabwean here in this particular discussion, many of us have tried to venture into taking part and representing our countries in video games, but we haven't been successful in terms of like, getting people to support our events, or even getting the simple sponsorship, like getting like, small internet bundles so that you're able to play ranked matches online or even online tournaments, because based on the economic situation and even the political landscape within our nation, it's very challenging to be able to, to thrive within the realms of video games and esports. Like in July, in July, I went to the Red Bull Committee and I actually saw what a thriving esports community is like, and what an esports community that's supported by its government is like. Like you can literally see people are actually into this. But then if you come back home, I'm pretty sure maybe in Harare the esports scene is a lot more better than it is here in Bulawayo or even Kweru or something like that. But then you wonder, how come we're failing to get to this particular level? Okay, even on our own, because in SA, the owns I came across, the UGCZA guys, they did the whole esports thing up until they finally got support from everybody. How come we can't do that? Anyone wants to add on?
Yeah, it's like
I'm pretty...
and I was just also typing up to Jarvis here, but it's like even if you look at, like you're saying, even if you're looking at other countries and what they're doing for their players, firstly, before we even talk about the problems in Zim, let's just look at maybe, for example, South Africa and the other countries. Esports, not only is it just like a financial opportunity, right? Businesses can come in, market their goods, advertise gadgets, or whatever the players are interested in. It all depends on the game. It's also an avenue to get people involved in other things. So, for example, you can have your players that are trying to push a particular game that they like. They're having their tournaments, they're having their streams, they're having all these different events that are based around their particular video game. But then it doesn't end there, because now other ventures can come as well, whether it's people selling clothes can come and sell their clothes at the events. People get interested in clothing, next thing they're pushing other ventures as well. As a player, as a supporter, as whoever is a part of a particular community, there can always be other opportunities or other activities that are tied with your game. Therefore, it's like the people involved are learning more than just playing games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's device, like people can bring their devices, people are bringing their merchandise, whether it's clothes or food, or people are streaming or anything like that. So, for example, during my time playing games and trying to make a YouTube channel, I've learned different skills. You learn how to edit videos, you learn how to do commentary, you learn how to do all these small little tasks. And I think, for example, if it wasn't for video games, and if it wasn't for my love of trying to make some community, I would have had no reason to learn these things. So all these different
That's
activities. Yeah, it's true. These types of activities, not only do they bring money to the people supporting these events, but they also bring like some self-development of some kind. You see in some of these events, people are cosplaying, and it's like, oh yes, I'm dressed up as Scorpion. Fair and fine, that person is doing it for fun. But the more events happen, this person gets to cosplay more. Next thing, they're making better costumes. They're networking with different other people who are into cosplay. They are now also building their own exposure, their own communities. They're building up together. And then as they network, more opportunities are coming up. You know what I mean? So it's like, to me, it doesn't make sense. Why, coming from the country we come from, you wouldn't allow this to happen? Because firstly, unemployment is very high, right? That's a common problem. Lots of people are going through the schooling system, university system to further go on and do nothing because there are no opportunities to do anything. Everyone is eager to get their hands on something, to do something with their lives, but there are very few opportunities, or at least very few fulfilling opportunities. So now you have a lot of people that are sitting in their homes, generally speaking, doing relatively nothing. But they still have desires, whether it's sports, whether it's video games, whether it's art, whether it's creating music. There are a lot of people we know amongst our community who have all these different skills, all these different interests. But then it's like, okay, fine, you like making music. This guy's got Fruity Loops in his basement. He's making all the beats. But then where can he take that to? There is no music industry outside of those select few. But imagine if there's, for example, esports events, or there are any other types of events, but in this case we're talking esports. If I was someone, or for example, Duvo likes COD, he's also making his music. If there were some events, he could actually come and play his music at the events, and that's an opportunity for him. Everyone has their small little things that they love to do. And it's like, the country itself is not facilitating this. Then people decide, okay, fine, let's do this for ourselves. Let's create our own community like what we tried to do. Let's make our own thing where our people can come together and we can thrive and further, express the things that we are able to do. But then in comes economic problems. The currency is going down continuously. You can't even afford to buy the things you want to buy. You're a gamer, but you can't afford to buy the games because your local currency doesn't even work online. The banking system doesn't even take your money as it is. You have to go to the black market, you have to exchange it for foreign currency, then you have to bank it, and then the bank may or may not accept your transaction. So I can't even buy the game that people want to play. Internet prices forever going up, internet connections are forever bad. You message the ISP and ask, like, is it possible to get net type 2? And they're like, what's net type?
What's net type 2 exactly?
So these are just like general things, but it's like, how can an esports community develop in a country where the ISP doesn't even know what net type is? In a country where your currency can't even make a purchase? In a country where you don't even have an internet connection in your home? Just on a final point, it's like, when I got back to that place, I spent the greater part of 3 years with no internet at all, completely no connection. It was just me practicing by myself in my room. In those 3 years, if I had a connection, maybe I could have been playing players in South Africa, Botswana, Zambia, whatever. Maybe some opportunity could have come from that, or at the very least, I could have been a better player. But after 3 years of sitting playing alone, and with the few people we had in our community, finally there was a limited opportunity to play online, and we find out that the difference in skill is there, but it's not that big. So if we had the opportunity to play online during those 3 years, would we not have been on the same skill, or maybe had the opportunity to be better? And if so, where would we be now?
We'll be very far, bro.
If there was any help, or even just a stable environment for the scene to grow even slowly. All the tournaments we held, they could have led to something, anything, but they all led to nothing. I believe we've got hours and hours of footage, hours and hours, tournaments on tournaments, different games, and it all led to absolutely nothing. Well, at least KRW King got to go to Red Bull Kumite. That's it. That's it. But outside of that, it's like the country, fair and fine, we're looking at esports, but I guess in all other avenues, the country is just suffocating everyone. There is no opportunity outside of what the government wants to happen. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, Sasori, if you are still here.
Yep, I'm here.
From your experience in the Harare community over the past couple of years, what have you seen? And like, what have been the struggles where it's like, you know, for a fact, there's nothing you guys could have done to fix this because it was just out of your hands? And how did you overcome maybe some things that you managed to overcome?
To be totally honest, right, like ever since I started gaming on a serious level, on a competitive level, should I say, I've met a lot of people who've been interested in it. They'll be coming up with ideas of starting tournaments and, you know, trying to make it grow, trying to make the community grow. But it's always a problem of people, like you said, people can't really choose not to take gaming seriously because it's not profitable. So if you write a proposal, I once did a proposal and I went to banks, and banks would tell me that we're only taking people who are doing farming projects. We're only taking proposals of people doing farming projects. And I'm like, okay, fine. You go to maybe places like the German Society, and you tell them about the idea. They're not interested. They're just into, you know, poetry and arts. But even though gaming is an art, they're still not interested. So you end up finding very few places to actually go to and try and build a community. So you move around Harare, gaming shops, gaming cafes, meet guys there, and then that's how we started. Most of the guys from the groups that you've seen us in, we met them through there. That's how I actually met Gift. I met Gift through, there's this guy called Prince. He's also from Blues. He knew he knew I was a gamer, and then he introduced me to Gift. And then I started meeting people around, and I introduced them to Gift, and then we met Abdul and a lot of people. So the community grows. But there's always the problem that people are always gonna be like, gaming is too expensive. We don't have internet, so we can't get as good as the guys that are outside. We can't be playing games for as long as this is a favorite one of mine. I was told, like, I was talking to this other guy. He was like, nah man, there's no way I'm gonna ever become as good as Sonic Fox because the guy labs for 16 hours. I can't lab for 16 hours. I have to look for money, and this gaming thing doesn't give me money.
Bandwidth is just too weak.
Yes. So it's either bandwidth or the game is too expensive. We have people who'll be having the game, but then maybe they don't have access to the internet because the game is either offline play only or there's no internet bandwidth. Yeah, because some areas the network really sucks to the point that even though I'm in Harare and the guy is also in Harare, we cannot play at all.
But won't it depend on the ISP they're using?
I think so.
Yeah,
but
because if you're using, like, let's say if you're using Zoll, which is a bit more pricey than, you know, your regular data bundles from Econet or Net1, surely your connection will be trying to balance out their weak connection, which is type 3. Because I have played some guys from Harare who were using Econet. It was a struggle, but we had to make it work either way.
Yeah, Econet sometimes works. I guess that is that is what happens, because I know there are areas where there's no Zoll because of the cables. I think it's because there's no cables, so people will be stuck on Wi-Fi. They can't use cables. Yeah, there's no liquid there. So those are some of the issues. But then all of the stuff can usually be resolved, but people might not want to do it because options are you can go and play at your friend's place, but you don't want to always rely on your friend's place. Maybe this other day he's not there, or he's not in a mood to see people. Maybe you beat him at his own home.
No,
So
it
now he
was on
doesn't.
Saturday.
So, but I feel like, we have countries like South Africa, like KW King was saying. He went to Red Bull. I saw pictures of, dude, the place where the tournament was held was spectacular, bro. Like, it was amazing. I don't think Harare is anything, or maybe Zimbabwe. I don't know about those, but I don't think Zimbabwe as a whole has an area like that they can repurpose to make into an arena like that. I don't know, but it looks spectacular. It's one of those things where if there was a way we could talk to the government, show them we're organized, perhaps things would work out. But then we have the
like some years ago that happened, right?
Mhm.
Then they say, like, for us guys, we play FGC. Most of us we play fighting games, right?
Yes.
All of us here we play fighting games. Then they said we will not sponsor violent content. That also includes Call of Duty, boxing, the likes of like, let's say your UFC games.
Yeah.
And they said maybe we can look at games that are educational and interactive, like games from the Wii or quiz games, right? That's what they can sponsor. But anything else that is not allowing that, forget it, we will not sponsor you. And at the same time, they said, if we were to sponsor you and you guys were to make money, all of the money that you make will go to what? To the particular ministry that is helping you guys out. I will not quote any names. I have a reliable source who said this. So yeah, that's what's up.
The thing is,
Therein lies.
sorry to cut you off. Just to add on to what King was just saying about approaching people. There was once a time, it was me, it was D2, and it was Smooth Jarvis. I had met up randomly with some person who was part of a gaming commission. Right, that's a very broad term that can mean anything, but it was a gaming commission. So I remember I told D2 and I told Jarvis about this. Then I was like, let's go and see exactly what it is they are talking about. And then also, I'm going to tell them what we are representing. Yeah, Smooth Jarvis remembers that day. It was a very hot Saturday. Very hot Saturday. So we go to this particular place, and what you can just tell by the people attending that you're in the wrong place at the very wrong time. So I remember we approached. There was one lady who was like greeting people and ushering them in. So we told her, we're like, hey, we are representing a certain organization. We're mainly focused on esports, and we're hoping to see if we can reach out to people who could be influential or helpful in any way, because we feel like there's an opportunity here with these games. There's a big opportunity, and there's like a large player base of people who would be interested if there was some big organization behind us. And she looked at us nicely. She was very calm. She was very polite. And she was like, I'm sorry, I think you came to the wrong place. The gaming commission here is only really talking about casinos, gambling.
Wow.
Yeah, casinos, gambling.
How is that gaming, though?
Hey, casinos,
Oh wait,
gambling
blackjack is a game.
Yes. No, technically speaking, a gaming commission covers things such as gambling and casinos. And like what do you call those, like fantasy sports,
fantasy booking,
yeah, and like betting, sports betting, all these things are under technically the supervision of the gaming commission, at least in Zimbabwe. So that's what they were actually there for. And the types of people they were following were like, oh, you know, this guy D2 made $1 million and now he's having talks about how he did it and how he's now going to put the money back into the gaming commission because the casino scene is growing and this and that and this. So I remember we told her, and then she told us this response. Then I think we looked at each other, and then I think I may have asked a question like, so there'll be no section for like video games? And the woman looked at us nicely and she was like, no, like there's no chance for any, like even to talk about it, like there's nothing. So we sat there for a few minutes, we saw what they were talking about, and then we left. But the moral of that story is that it's not even like what they were talking about was wrong. It is part of this gaming commission. But the response where it's like, so can we say anything about games or esports? And the lady answered in such a way where it's just like, there's no place for that here. You know, like there's no interest. We don't do that. Yeah, we don't do that here. You know what I mean? Like it's not really a part of, I guess, Zimbabwean culture where it's just like video games. No matter what opportunities are presented, really we just don't want this thing here. So not only is it an issue of like government and economy, it's also a situation of culture. That people still view games as this thing that's like, ugh, don't want this. Yeah. So it was that's literally the irony, that you would rather promote, for example, the younger generation coming up to go into betting and casinos than into gaming. You know what I mean? Like video games. And it's like, yeah, sure, fair and fine. The casino scene has a professional side to it. It's not all doom and gloom. It's not illegal things always happening in casinos. But it's like, I believe that there is also a lot of value to video games. If we're talking about the developing mind or a developing child or someone in their early adulthood who's looking for something, there are so many things you could do in the spectrum or realm of gaming. It doesn't even have to be just playing the games. Like I said, it can be music, it can be art, it can be editing, it can be video, it can be event hosting, it can be so many different things. Yeah, that could come about you being in a gaming community. But people just look at it as a waste of time. So that one hurt the most. But the thing is, I feel like the people have that attitude because there is no incentive. Like, if there were 5 years, for example, in which at some point the government said, for example, internet prices have gone down and all internet connections are finally maybe net type 2, just that alone would allow the people who want to play games to play games. And then when people are now hosting their events, since everyone has internet, you can then upload footage of your stuff. People see what's happening. People see the winnings. People see the hype. People see what's going on. Even people who don't play games will take interest in these things. That much I can be certain of. Because even here where I am, here people are not so much interested in meeting in live events. It's mostly online events. But the live events that are happening are things to do with board games. Dungeons and Dragons is big in Europe. It's big in Czech Republic. And it's like people are coming up with their own board games and they're having their own fairs. Everyone is meeting up in these big arenas. People are talking. People are having fun. And it's all different avenues. Such that you'll even find parents where it's like, oh, back in my day, I was a D&D player, I was a Pathfinder player, and they're bringing their kids, trying to put them into these communities because they see what it did for them. And it's like, let my son or my daughter also go in. Maybe there's, I don't know, for example, since these things are so broad, if we just look at D&D alone, what opportunities could present themselves for a kid? It's an opportunity, for example, to make friends. It's an opportunity to role play. It's an opportunity to have some live action role playing, some acting. It's an opportunity to actually get to play the different games and engage in the different systems. There's so many things you could do in terms of hosting live events that you'll find, like I'm saying, the old generation bringing their kids and they're all going there to play together. You know what I mean? Old and young. It's generation handing over to generation. Because one generation has seen the benefit of what it did for them. And it's like, if this was so nice for me, let my younger one also get into this. So I feel like if there were to be some time where people in the esports community had just room to breathe, we're not even asking for money, just facilities that work, electricity and internet and transportation. That is all. We're not even asking for anything else. And just those three things could facilitate people hosting online events, real life events. These things carry over. Just imagine 5 years of some interesting fire tournaments like what we're trying to do. And people are getting to see it because everyone has the internet. I'm sure after that time, someone will be like, you know what, I've been seeing this stuff happening for too long. Let me also go and see what's going on there. I can't be a bystander for 5 years. You know what I mean? So it's very basic things, and they are all missing. But in that regard, I have a question to D2 and Jarvis. I don't know who would want to answer this one in particular. How was the gaming scene before I came back to Zim in 2016? Because I remember I used to hear stories about how there were some few meetings or few people's back in the day, and it was like, you know, people playing MK9 and a few other things, but it wasn't so serious, but there was an interest. What sparked that interest? Because according to Muscle Man, I remember he was telling me it was like there was a period in time, like after I left Zimbabwe, for example, in 2012, where a new generation of people got exposed to footage online of what people were doing. Because I know in 2008, 2009, 2010, it was the people I used to play with who used to get stuff from like Cross Counter TV and all these different things, and Street Fighter 4 was the hype game, and Marvel 3, and would come sneak in just a few videos here and there, and people got interested. I remember also back in those days, there was a very big Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 LANs that always used to happen. I used to go to those. Then it's like 2011, 2012, it kind of ended. That group of people kind of all left Zimbabwe. And then by the time I came back, there was just this new story with a new group of people. So I don't know, D2, maybe if you can say something.
Okay. First, I'll start off with it was all by chance. From my experience and with Jarvis, we always wanted to game, but we didn't have the device. And when we had the device on PC, most people were on Xbox and PS. So we're now kind of quite behind. So then we decided to, let's say, take a gamble and then get a machine that can bridge the gap. And we just found Ben by some chance. By chance, and he was still building computers, and I can get you guys a system that can run. And that's when it started. So there was one day when we bought the machine from Ben, we started playing MK9 with RTK. Then MKX jumped out and let's play this item. Then we saw one day Bennett was just doing some combos. Then we're like, do you know that you play games all day? Let's play a few matches, and then that's how we started. And then we introduced RTK and Z to Ben, and then I don't know where Ben found Mitch introduced Muscleman to us. And then that's how it started. And then one day we're like, let's just make it tournament. Then that's when we had your Muscleman, me, Jarvis, Ben, and the janitor. That's how it started. And then you came in the next year, got him with the Sipo and other guys, and then that's how it became big.
Okay. It's quite interesting. Jarvis, are you still here? Maybe he's not here. What?
Yeah, I think it's connected.
Yeah, possible. Yeah, it's quite interesting. For example, some key points I got from you, besides chance meetings are usually always how some of these things happen. So for example, King, I don't know who told you to come ask about a tournament, but like I feel like if I wasn't in the cold room that day, maybe you would have not come back. So yes,
You saw us like
he had
one
seen...
day we were just playing, then we saw King inside of you play actually games also, bro, and then it was done. Another guy joined the clan.
Because for me, obviously, I didn't know King before 2017. So to me, it was just like, here's a guy who wants to play. And then I explained everything that I could explain. But to be honest, it was like, hopefully this guy comes to play. But in my mind, it's like, this is Zimbabwe. Maybe he won't come back. You know what I mean? It's like the key thing that you had said, besides the chance encounters, is one of the biggest problems that I faced when I was trying to grow like the scene in Bulawayo with you guys, was the availability of things. So it's like, you said you wanted to play. Okay, fine, I want to play. How can I play? maybe I need a computer that's good enough to play these games because my current computer is not, then that stress is finding the money to do so. You take a lot of time, months or years, trying to finally get to that position where your machine can finally be good enough to play something, and you find that it's taken you so long, you're kind of out of date. Fine, let me try get the console. You have to save up some more. Like, it's not even like the prices of these things internationally are high. It's that the amount of money you are making or earning in the country is so low. That's the real problem. So you finally get your chance to get the console. Now you have to afford the games. Now you have to afford the internet. Now you have to afford the PS Plus subscriptions every month. If the joystick gets broken, now you have to find a way to get a new joystick, because new joysticks are actually just difficult to find. It's not even like the joysticks are there but you can't afford them. They are unaffordable and they are not there. Just like the consoles themselves, they are unaffordable by Zimbabwean standards, and the supply is not even there. You might find one guy selling, for example, PlayStation 5s, maybe he's got 10 of them at most. And if those get sold out by some miracle, who knows when he's getting a next shipment of PlayStation 5s? You know what I mean? It's like, it's not happening anytime soon. So the supply is very low, the demand is higher than the supply, and the cost is above most people's paycheck. So what can you really do if you can't even afford these things?
I think,
Go ahead.
I think another problem was also the committee. There wasn't a senior committee as the cold room. So imagine if there were more places that were like the cold room. Even if you didn't have the system, if you knew a place where you could practice these items, and then the people also encourage you to practice, then that would be a problem. Because outside, I'm pretty sure not able to buy some console, but the fact that they know there's a place, then there are people who enjoy playing it, you learn a lot from the, then you'll upgrade eventually. But that's the thing that, like, people saw gaming as, it's just something that just passes by, it's just a phase.
It's just something for entertainment for 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, to slightly push back on what you said, D2. During the time, those many years we're trying to push with the code room, there were many times where I would, like, I'm looking at my Steam right now. I sectioned my Steam, and I've got categories. In my fighting games category, there are 29 fighting games here. Some games I bought out of interest for myself. Some games I bought because I was hoping that, someone might take interest in something. You know what I mean? I was buying almost any and every game, fighting game wise, that I could afford. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is the cold room was a place for people to go, even if they didn't have the consoles. You know what I mean? I would carry my computer on weekends, you guys would carry your consoles during the weekends, and we would let anyone and everyone play. I used to sit down with CJs, I used to sit down with the Tyrones and literally teach them combos. Like, okay guys, step 1, here are the footsies of the game. Step 2, here are the combos. And we'd sit down the whole afternoon, just me teaching them combos and systems of the game. But still, it's like they had the opportunity. I was there as someone who was like, okay, I will bring my machine to you so that you can learn the game, such that at some point when we have some type of get together and we're playing, you have knowledge about the game. The problem then came as, even if I learn something here, when I go home, I have nothing to play, but yet the people who have the game are playing continuously. People, yeah, like that was the attitude. So it's like, so what's the point? I'll always be behind. People like CJ and maybe Mz were anomalies in the sense that maybe generally as people, they were talented. You know what I mean? They could pick up things and remember them, and they were comfortable in their remembering, such that even if there was a gap between the last time they played and now, they're still performing and they're learning on the fly, right? So people like them I appreciated. Mzi, CJ were very good at picking up things if they really wanted to. They could pick things up and they would perform relatively well for someone who does not have the game. But they were the minority. There were many other people who were struggling. Even when they had the game, they were struggling. Even when you were teaching them, they were struggling. And I didn't have a solution. I used to ask myself, like, what can I actually do? Because to me, I've taught this particular concept so many times to this one person, and they still just don't get it. You know what I mean? And it's like with people like that, they usually then just give up, because I guess to them it's like a mountain too high to climb. And then they just give up and they never come back. And yeah, so in that case, it's like, how do you defeat that mentality of, oh, I'll never win whatever, I'm gone?
The only way you can defeat it is if the person is in love with a particular genre. I can give an example. For example, King, when he started with his Tekken 7, wasn't at your level, but in time, him just keep on playing the game, got better. Same goes with me and Smooth. Like MK, but we used to get our ass beat all the time, bro. Until we continued to playing, bro, and then MK11 came. Especially just we can testify with you now. We'll come once in a while, he will do his overtimes with attachment at work. Then when he comes back with the 1 hour just to lap the game, he still kept on playing it even though he lost so many games. So the only way you can bridge is if the person loves that particular genre. Whether it's Soul Calibur, they just need only one genre. If they've got like maybe a foundation of that genre, they can use it to play other fighting games or other games in general.
No, I hear you. Before I pass on a question to Sasori and also to Smooth Jarvis, I'll just want to add one point to that, where it's like the passion or the desire to do the thing is definitely needed, and it was lacking in many people. Because, for example, when MK11 came out, there was a big, I don't know if I can say big interest or big buzz to play the game. And I knew after MKX that chances are I would never play MK again. It was a personal choice. I was just like, I'm tired of this. I'm done, right? But when MK11 came out, I realized that there were people in the community who still loved MK. Like, for them, there was never a problem. And since I was the one hosting tournaments before, just because I didn't like the game anymore was not an excuse for me to then say, fine, I'm not hosting tournaments anymore. I was still hosting the tournaments for MK11, and I was still participating in the MK11 tournaments. I had no game or whatever. I didn't really care about the game at all, but I still played because I saw that in other people's lives the game was nice and influential to them. And I feel like thanks to that gave the rise of guys like K2J, for example, because I feel like K2J came at a time where, in terms of the history of the courtroom, things were divided. Some people were on one side, some people were on Tekken, some people on Street Fighter, some people didn't care about fighting games anymore. And then there was me, who was the organizer. And the demand is for the new game. The demand is for MK11. In comes these younger guys, the Princes, the K2Js, the Ninja Betas. They jump in, and it's like, I'm seeing these guys and they are really hungry for the game. They are crying by musclemans, like, we really need to play this game. And I thought to myself, why would I be foolish enough to not host tournaments when the people are literally right there and they're begging for the game? And I remember I used to sit down with K2J and try teach him MK11 when I didn't even know shit. You know what I mean?
Play the game.
I didn't even play the game and I didn't know shit, but I sat down, I was like, K2J, let's figure this out, because I wanted him to play. I actually wanted him to play. And he actually then started playing. You know what I mean? And it was like, fair and fine. He wasn't maybe the best player, and also me, I was not the best player. But at least that was 2 more people in the tournament that otherwise would not have been there. And we had some fun times, bruh. There were so many videos we uploaded, or even those first to 10s. I believe there was K2J's first to 10 with, was it you, Dalu? No?
No, wasn't it 100 Thieves?
Aha.
Audience, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it was 100 Thieves.
Yeah. So it's like things like that. People had so much fun. People had, it was great times, great events. And it's like, it doesn't really matter what your opinion is about the game. If the opportunity is there for people to enjoy, let the people enjoy. You know what I mean? And I feel like that is only out of the passion of let us grow this community. Like, put aside the differences. Fuck MK, but let's make it happen. You know what I mean? So
Let's not even forget Msue.
yeah, the Mswenyas.
by Duke.
Mswenya was there. He was taught by Duke. He became one of the most interesting noob cyborgs to watch. But this was a FIFA player. You know what I mean? So it was just out of that desire where it's like, guys, let's just do something. It's nice. Why not? Why? We have nothing to lose. And that time leading into the COVID era was probably some of the most fun we had in tournaments than before that. You know what I mean? So, passion for sure. And I do not know how we instill passion in people back home, but I feel like passion is as a result also is a result of a stable life. I feel like if your life is too upside down and just struggling too much, it's very difficult to find passion in something. You know what I mean? I don't think if you were to go to like some really poor rural areas, for example, you'll find people talking about the arts. You know, people talking about movies and.
Charles?
Hello, what's up?
Did it just get disconnected or something?
Hello.
I think his
Yeah.
mic got fried just now.
Yeah, it was a
You're
delay.
spitting some fire.
You're Raz, you're gone silent for a
Hello.
bit, Raz.
Hello.
It got
Yeah.
caught in the ice cloud.
I can hear you. We can hear you.
Funnily enough, it's like I was still connected, but the Discord dropped to 0 bars and it came back. Yeah, so I was just saying, like, people in rural poor communities won't be talking about arts and TikTok and, you know what I mean? They've got bigger problems. So it circles back to economy things. If your life isn't good, I think it would be very hard to enjoy some video games. I don't see how. You know, if you're crying for money to put food on the table.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Actually, Smooth, I think you would be the most qualified to talk about this one in terms of what you've seen in your like working life.
Like for more people, like what you said, in rural areas, when it comes to the whole game,
Hold on,
especially
Smooth.
those
Smooth. Hold on. Sorry to your robots on my side. Disconnect and come back in, if you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
While we wait for Smooth to go out and come in, sorry, the question I was going to ask you in regards to like some of the things we were saying, in terms of, you said you found the guys in different arcades and then you started networking together. When you look
Yes.
at where you guys are now and compare it to, I don't know, years ago, was there ever like, is there a point in time when you can look back and say this was the turning point where things started getting together and working well amongst you guys? Why did you notice that turning point? And then now in this current year, how do you think the community is, and do you think there can be some improvements, or like, is there something nice about it, or is there something that's still like, oh, I wish this existed?
Okay, from the times when we met up, right? People started learning about. Back then, that's when people discovered, the whole combo videos things. Because before, people were just doing scrubby play.
Yeah.
So now you're going to arcades, you're meeting guys who are doing these amazing 10 hits, 100 hit combos, and everybody wants to learn. And then you're getting guys coming with combo videos, and then people start learning because everybody's now in a competitive sort of level, because they can understand the game. Before, people would just be like spamming, scrub play. So it got good. People would participate, come to tournaments and stuff. But then another problem arose, because out of the whole, meeting up with people, there's certain people that will excel. Like, I think you guys were talking about it, that other people catch things faster,
Yeah.
others don't. Yeah, so the ones that caught things faster stayed, but the ones that couldn't decided, we can't do this anymore, because there's you start be like the competitiveness, and some people tends to like
Comes
they lose it.
frustrating.
Yeah, it becomes frustrating because you're just going and losing, and sometimes it's these tournaments where you're being asked to pay money. You're like, what's the point of going to this tournament if, for example, if Gift is there or if Sasori is there? Why would I go to this tournament and pay money when I know that I'm going to lose? So people would have just kicked themselves out, and then
Stop.
yeah. So instead of growing, the community did grow for a bit, but then you'd find that after every tournament, for let's say Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Taken, every time people have a tournament, the tournament will have a lot of people. The tournament is hyped because everybody's like, for example, I'll just give you an example of right now, Mortal Kombat 1. The first Mortal Kombat 1 tournament, you're gonna have an upwards of maybe 20 plus people that are gonna attend, which is high numbers for us, honestly, in Harare. So 20 people are going to attend, right? Once they have attended and then they see the level that they are, you're gonna see a decrease from every other tournament that's gonna start happening. In the end, maybe you're gonna have tournaments of like where the turnout will be about 6 people. The last Street Fighter 5 tournament had 6 people in attendance. The last MK tournament had 4 people in attendance. MKX tournament had 4 people in attendance. So people start being afraid of losing, because after losing, it's like, there are people who trash talk. So you get trash talked for losing, and then you're like, nah, man, I can't be doing this. Can't be dealing with this. And another thing, people will be the excuse. I find it's a big excuse for a person to say that I can't become as good as a person who owns a console. I feel that excuse is not good, because I remember when I started playing Mortal Kombat X, I did not have a console. I only got a console during the times of COVID. I didn't have a console. I would go to my friend's place, I would go to Hector's place, and I would play Mortal Kombat there. I think like maybe 2-3 times a week. And I ended up becoming good because of that. Hector himself had the console for a long time, but he only got good because of him playing against me. I'm not trying to brag, but he used to play with people who weren't that good, and so he never, like, I think the only game he was ever really good at was Taken. But he improved on Mortal Kombat to the point where he became better than me. But that was because we were all constantly playing against each other. I didn't have a console, but I won a few tournaments because of it. I now have a console. And MK11, I used to suck at it for a long time, because you'd be sitting there, you might not even practice combo sometimes. You might be in the story or doing some other stuff. So I find it's an excuse that a lot of people run towards, but it's not where it's at. Also, to answer your last question, I think we could have gone far if we had a proper esports. For the longest time, I believed we had an esports in Zimbabwe, but apparently we don't. We don't really have one, and all attempts of getting one started have ended in. I'm not saying any names, but have ended in huge failures. Promises have been made countless times, none of which have been. Yeah, exactly. Zim
Yes,
Shakedown
no.
is one. The biggest promise of them all.
You know,
None of them have come.
the sad thing is I'm actually looking at my channel now just to confirm, like, yeah, for example, the first to 10 was K2J and 100 Thieves. And yes, I've got the footage right here of the Zim Shakedown qualifiers from the Bulayo side.
That was the most prepared.
Yeah,
tournament.
we've
That was
got
the
it.
most
We've got
prepared.
it right here. MK11 Zim Shakedown qualifiers, top 833 views 3 years ago. I remember that thing, man. And it's like, yeah,
Wow.
like what you're saying is true. Like, people, this is to maybe to tie it back, and then I'll say some few things about what you had spoken about. It's like, this is maybe a very good indicator of just life in Zimbabwe. And it's not just gaming, you know what I mean? It's not just video games, it's business, it's in all facets of life.
Yes.
That you cannot trust organizers or businesses or companies or affiliates of the people in charge, right? You can't really trust their word, because most often they're not They are pushing their own agendas. They are pushing things that benefit them, not so much the people. So in that case, as soon as something stops benefiting them or the agenda changes, things can just change just like that. We can agree that today we're going to do something, but then 30 minutes before it happens, things have changed. And it's a very common thing in Zim. Things can fall apart at any point. Hence why you can never really make a plan in Zimbabwe, because the country just doesn't work that way. There's no actual stability, whether it's stability in terms of money, resources, or even manpower. You know what I mean? Sometimes the people are just not available, or they're not there.
Example, the
What's up? Smooth.
Well, I think the example the tariffs now high. If you take a look at them, yet the connection of the internet is too much.
Sorry, Smooth, your connection is still ass. I don't know.
So,
That's this. Well, actually, Smooth Jarvis right now is just proving to you the quality of Zimbabwe online. You know what I mean? This is the standard Zimbabwean connection. This is the connection many people can have, and just having a voice communication with Jarvis is proving difficult. Yet I know for a fact Jarvis has many things that he could say. Actually, Jarvis, I have an idea. I don't know if you can do this.
Send a voice note.
Exactly. Send a voice note of exactly how you feel right now, and then I'll play it over my microphone when you're in chat. I think that would be the best way to do it. And also, just to add on to the few things before I forget about what you're saying, Sasori, like, I agree with you that I don't have a console is not good enough. Sadly, the person who could have been the best spokesman for this is KW King. There were many years when King either didn't have a console like a PlayStation 4, or when he had the PlayStation 4, he didn't have the game. So for example, when it came to Street Fighter 5, when it came to Tekken 7, when it came to Under Night, when it came to King of all these different games, but specifically Tekken 7 and Street Fighter 5, KRW King played at my house for the better part of probably 2.5 years. Training, like, we would find times that suited both of us and we would play together. Like I said, for 3 years I had no internet whatsoever when I got back to Zimbabwe, and my only training was teaching him the game, and then that would reinforce the knowledge I know, and it would also teach him something. And then King would literally go at home, sit and think about the things that we were doing or playing or whatever. He would go find videos online, he would watch videos, he would read on forums, he would come up with scenarios and ideas in his head. Then he would come back to me some days later or whenever and try out the things that he was researching on. That in itself is just a maybe testament of passion to learn or passion for the thing you're pushing for. Yeah. Smooth, you had asked, like, I'm going to repeat it here in the chat so that also I don't forget. From the business side of things, right? As a businessman, as someone chasing money, I was talking about how when people have big problems, not saying that you have big problems, but when people have big problems and people are chasing money, people are trying to put food on the table, people are trying to pay the bills, they have no time to be thinking about luxuries. And sadly, esports is a luxury. So coming from your time, your experience, always having to go away for work, always going away for like internships, going away for work, trying to balance work and school, how did you manage to still be a competitive MK player and get better, but still having to do these things of like trying to make money, trying to survive? And how do you think these things affect other people who you've seen in your life in Zimbabwe? Because everyone is chasing after money and the money is not coming easy. The inflation is skyrocketing every month, every week, every year. The time I left Zimbabwe last year and the value of money now is literally 13 times worse in 1 year. And even I didn't know it had gone so bad so quickly. So maybe you can tell us from that point of view, how did you manage to get better, considering the economic climate is so terrible and the money is so valueless, and you have to continue working, going out to work. How do you then build your skill as a fighting game player? You know what I mean?
Yeah. For the most part, I won't lie, it wasn't easy, but most of me improving was watching tournaments as well. Watching one of my most inspiring players back in the day. Like, for example, back in the days of MKX, we just watching players like Scar versus Sonic Fox. Those were also iconic moments. You see one of the top guys being beaten by another good guy like Scar. Scar is one of the guys I admired most in the FGC community when it came to MKX. So just during spare time, I'll just hop onto YouTube and check out the tournaments, or just specifically look for Scar's combos for maybe Sonya and what's his name? This Biohazard Kano as well. Kano was also one of my favorite characters. Having at least two guys I know who made those characters within the game it helped a lot, because I'd get combos and setups as well. But I'd also try out my own things and think of maybe easier combos to execute within the game if the combo is too difficult, to try and even things out, because sometimes you won't have enough time to try out those 50% damage combos. You know what I mean? Like during your spare time.
Yeah.
When the time you get to just practice, it won't be enough as compared to others. So now you have to compromise and see what else really contributes to you winning in the match. For example, footsies, how good your defense is, and how good you are at your offense, because you can't really win the game with just offense. You have to have a good defense, like trying to read what your opponent is trying to do at the time, trying to mix you up or trying to grab you consistently. You have to try and analyze and see what next move that's coming towards you is gonna. So in that end, in terms of me improving, also playing online. Each time I get home, playing online against the SA guys, like when the creature about it was we got that exposure playing online, even though the network was bad. It was really bad. We were lucky to actually find a few players who would actually bear with it to play with us. We'd play on 200 ping, 300 ping sometimes, but it was unbearable. It was bad. So yeah, for the most part, that was the gist of it. Just I think online exposure, because you get to experience a lot of gameplays from a lot of players, like zoners, and people are always up in your face. When you lose, me as a player, I more combat.
Oh, I guess that was the limit of his connection. If you come back, if you come back smooth, you would tell us.
There's also Discord, bro. I'm about to disconnect because today is on fire.
Yeah, no, today wasn't the best of days. But yeah, just to reiterate on some few topics that Smooth was saying, was talking about being efficient with your time. I feel like that's generally what we can attribute that one to, is being efficient with your time. You know that you have to chase the job, you have to chase money, you have to fight with the struggle of putting food on the table. So you know that your time is limited. in terms of what you can do when you are having the opportunity to practice these games, having the opportunity to try and be competitive in some way in this whole fighting game community. I don't know if you can call it like creating or revival of the community. So for the people who are listening, I guess it's the same thing I was telling Sasori now about KW King. And it's one of those, fine, you don't have the console, you can't afford the console, economic issues are getting worse, you might have a limited time to actually have physical experience with the game. That's understandable. With the rest of the time, when you're not able to then physically play the game, what can you do? You can watch videos if you have the capacity to do so, because we've already established that internet in Zimbabwe is a very big problem. So if you have the capacity somehow to watch footage, then watch footage, see what other people are doing, the people who are more skilled players than you, or watch educational videos that can teach you more about these different things. When you do have the chance to play, then play. In your mind, also try think and theory craft what scenarios are in the game. Okay, last time what happened? What were the results of the things that happened? Oh, I tried to do this and it didn't work. Why? You know what I mean? You have to have some intuition, have some initiative about your skill and position within the game itself. So this whole thing that I can't be as good as Sasori because I don't have the console or I don't have the game is not really, it's not a valid argument if you are having some opportunities to play the game, if someone is willing. So like I was saying, for the better part of a couple of years, KW King used to come to my house to play these games, and I didn't mind. I used to invite people. Just a few days ago, I was linking Rampo-san, his stream on Twitch. He's now living his life in the UK. Everything is good. Once upon a time, he used to come to the cold room because he didn't have a console. He didn't have the game. And people were there teaching him Injustice 2, teaching him MK11. You know, there were many times when some of these players who we know from our community, who are now very good players now, they didn't have these things. They started off with nothing. But it was the hunger, you know, to learn that pushed them to have this skill. And I remember Sasori was talking about how some people would be like, you know, if D2 is in this tournament, what's the point of even playing? Yeah, I know I'm going to lose. This is something I once tried to do, and I'll tell you for a fact it does not work. It's not a good idea, because even I noticed that there were some players who were not happy being put in tournaments with other people. You know what I mean? Because they knew, I have no chance of beating that player, so why should I even play? Hold on. Yes, hold on. So I then made tournaments specifically for those people. So let's just say out of 8 people, 4 believe that they are not good enough to beat the other 4. So then I offered people, I was like, if that's the case, let's make a tournament. Then I remember I sat down with Juke. I was like, let's make a tournament for you guys then. The guys who are still starting off, the freshmen in this particular game. Let's make a tournament for you guys so that you play amongst yourselves and let the best man win. And people still didn't show up. And people were still scared to lose. So it's like, was it really the fact that Sasori was there? Or is it that you are just scared? So I tried that for some months. It didn't work. Either people chose not to come, or they made some excuse as to why they should not come. The same people were crying that some high skill players were in the tournaments. So the only solution I then found later on, and this was only after some maybe 2-3 years, was when COVID happened. Then I was like, okay, we've got some players who have survived the initial scary phase and they're still attending tournaments, but they're not winning. These are the types of players who are always out in the first or second round of losers. Then I was like, why not have a series of videos where it's just first to tens of people just challenging each other? So that way these guys who are getting eliminated in the first round of losers or second round of losers, those with skill or those with balls can then challenge one another. and then they play each other. Those who choose to still be scared, let them be scared. Because there was no solution to that group of people. Even hosting events for them wasn't the solution. They still ran away. So I feel like in that regard, maybe it can be something, I don't know if Harare as a community already does it, but I think like that's something that can really boost people's egos, especially in the lower skill bracket. Look for the ones in the lower skill bracket who are hungry. Don't necessarily make a tournament just for them. It didn't work for me. Instead, get one or two, these individual pairs. Match them up. Make an event out of them. Make it a money match. Let people bet on that, you know. Oh, guy from such and such an area wants to challenge another guy. Let them put money on the table. Best man wins the money. The organizers don't even collect. The first to 10 that I had was 100 Thieves from Harare playing against K2J. K2J believed that he was a better player than 100 Thieves, and K2J believed that 100 Thieves was a fraud because of something that had happened in a MK tournament before that. So all I just did is I stepped in. I was like, guys, I'll bring everything. I'll bring the microphones. I'll bring everything. First to 10. I'll put money on the table for the first one. You two can put your money on the table. Winner takes all. And for some odd reason, the same guys who were being eliminated in the first round of losers were the first people in the building on that day because they were eager to play. And there was shit talking, everything, until the match began. There was drama, and then I believe K2J won, and he took the money. There was a big celebration. Just that alone led to there being 3 or 4 more first to 10s by some people you were not barely seeing in tournaments, but they were now eager to win. They were eager to prove a point, because even though they couldn't win the whole tournament, but they knew I can beat that motherfucker there and I can make a name for myself. Then they would just challenge one another by themselves. So it's tricky. I know people don't have money. It's Zimbabwe. And I feel like that's one of the driving factors of the fear of competing. Some people just don't compete even if the competition is free. I understand. But when you give them the opportunity to compete against the people they think they can win against, and the feeling is mutual, you can have some drama there. So maybe some 1v1 money matches, but with footage. That's what really matters. At least that's the standard I set in Bulawayo, was that there will always be footage. Always. And I feel like from our side as the Bulawayo guys, that's one thing we saw that was lacking from the Harare side, was that there was never a unified channel where there was always Harare footage. So I don't know, Sasori, if you can speak about that one. Why was it that there was no footage that we demanded to see that was ever shown? Was it because that people kept the footage amongst themselves? Or was there some disagreements in the community itself?
The thing is, I don't know if you remember when Harare played versus Blues at Mortal Kombat X.
The online one.
Yes, that channel is the channel that became Sasori the Harare Gamer. The channel was actually made so that people could, it was made for that day, right? And then was made so that people could start sharing footage. And then I told people, guys, give me footage, I'll upload it. And then after I waited for a long time, people, I think we had that one in, was it 2018 or end of 2018 or 2019?
I can actually check right now. Keep talking, but I can check when that thing was.
Oh, the thing is, people never responded. The channel was actually not active for a long time because I didn't have a console and I was waiting for people to give me footage. But people never gave me footage. So in the end, when COVID started, I was like, hey, there's already a channel that's there. Let me just start doing this YouTube thing. That's when I changed the name from Harare FGC to, because it had been Harare vs Blues, then it became Harare FGC to Sasori the Harare Gamer. Because it seemed like people weren't interested in giving me footage. Even after that, people were like, hey, people got on it and they were like, they want to give me footage, but they never would. I would always go into town and be like, can I get footage? People promise me footage, they never give me. They always like, there's some excuse that always happens. And then also there are times when people fight. I remember this one I was not allowed to post when Street Fighter 6 came out, and guys were playing at my house, and then the guys who kept losing, they were like, please do not post this because it's showing us bad, we're in a bad light because we're losing. And I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter. The game just came out 2 days ago, and so yeah, this is just
FGC.
Yes, so it's just supposed to be footage to show us playing the game. Hell, when MK came out, me and Hector were playing very scrappy play, but I posted it. But others don't want anything posted that shows them in a bad light, that shows them losing. They always wanna look like they're winning. So if people go and fight, like even if they fight with gift, right? They won't let him give me the footage because they'll be like, nah, man, we didn't come out well in that tournament or in those sets. There are many sets that happened. There was a tournament, I think it was a Taken one. That one I was allowed to post. I posted that one. But a lot of footage, people won't give me. Because people will just be like, if they're not winning, they'll only give me if they're winning for the majority of the part. Because I told them, I don't care what game it is. Any game is cool. So that's why we always lack footage. Otherwise, this channel had started growing, getting steam. I have like 200 plus subscribers now. It could have been more if it was encompassing Harare's footage instead of just footage of me, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, that was one of the maybe sad things, was that the community in Harare had a lot of people from different parts, different play styles, different mindsets. If only people could have just agreed on giving the footage. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, we understand the gameplay was not good or I did not win. It's understandable. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to be the winner in the video. But in most of the cases, that's not it. You know what I mean? Not everyone can win. So...
Hey, I post... Yeah.
Yes.
I always post footage even when I lose. Like I always post footage even if I lose. Like, it's not about always winning. How do you get better if you're always just doing, like, posting when you win only?
Yeah, so...
How do you learn to
I
win?
think part of posted, I think is just being sensitive to maybe feeling inferior and maybe a lot of talks. You know,
yeah,
for example,
there's insecurity.
The K2J talks with you, a trash player.
yeah, there's a lot of insecurity. K2J was a very good example of this, where it's like most of his negative talk towards other players or whatever was just to hide the fact that he himself was scared. So yeah, the people are scared. I don't know where this fear comes from.
If you're honest with yourself, yeah, exactly. If you're honest with yourself and you see that now my play was trash here, something in you will force you somehow to go and lab and to come up with something better. So maybe when...
Oh no, just as you was about to say some fire stuff, but just to add on to that one, I believe maybe in some players' minds they genuinely can't see improvement. I feel like that's where they are.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly where, because for example, when we're talking about bad footage, there are some. It's actually very interesting to see now. For example, there were times when we're sitting in this Discord chat, and we're like, for example, KRW King was sitting with me here in the Discord, and I posted a video of the very first tournament that he played in. And I remember at that time, Colleen had just come out in Street Fighter 5. He was playing Ryu, and we're just laughing because his first match was against me, and we're just looking at our gameplay, and it was like, wow, this is really bad. This is really, really bad. But looking back now, it's actually very interesting to see where we are. There's also some footage of us when Tekken 7 came out. We were playing together. And then when you look at the last Tekken 7 tournament we had, it was night and day. Like, the gameplay was astronomically better. So it's like, yeah, you will always start at a point where you are not the best. Your job is to become better. But I feel like people don't. People just want to be the best without any work being done or without losing. And
Why?
what's
Why
up?
is this an FGC thing? I don't see that in FIFA. I've seen beginners challenge veterans, bet money, still lose, and come 10 times again.
Yep.
Is it only
FIFA guys, I respect them because of that.
So,
I don't
Though
I don't even
lose
know
a
how,
ton of
but their
money.
guys are too brave. Yeah, they're just going
console,
in.
know what?
Yeah.
Man will walk home, bruh. Use transport money, salary money to lose 10 games.
Yeah,
But you can't
I
do
think
that
maybe that's what we were talking about in terms of the culture thing and the whole gaming commission. You know what I mean? Where people are just like, we don't do that here. I feel like football is universal. Whatever country you go to, people love kicking a ball. So the fact that
Even
there's a visual, even if there's now a visual one you can do in the comfort of your own home, you know what I mean? People are more than happy to do it. So I feel like that's where culture steps in, where people just have a positive outlook on sports. That's why sports games, you'll never find a tournament that is lacking players. Go throw a flyer in your city right now and say we've got a FIFA tournament, free entry. There might be a prize or there might not be. Doesn't really matter. You will still find FIFA players who are there just willing to prove that their team is the best. Their gameplay is the best. You know what I mean? They've got more to put on the line than just is there money or is there no money? Or I'm scared of such and such a player. There's a pride, there's an internal pride about football that I feel like the FGC does not have.
But if MK was UFC, people start watching boxing.
I guess so. It's possible. Because at the end of the day, if you look at the player base, the people who are playing those games, the boxings and the UFCs, are not the same people playing MK and Injustice. They're not the same. Yeah, and just to add one last thing, that Harare Bulawayo tournament was February of 2019. You can go, Sasso.
Okay. So, but you know what? MK just came out. Before he came out, there's this friend of mine, I won't mention names. He was so hyped. He was like, dude, I'm going to kick your ass. This and that. We finally got to play we finally got to play. And I beat him. We played 2 matches. I beat him. And he was like, I'm going to go lab. After that, he refused to play with me again. So it was one of those things you're like, okay.
That was it.
Some way. That was it.
He was just like, fuck you,
I don't know
I'm
if
done.
he's ever going to allow me to play him again. But
That's it. You've been banned for life.
Yes. Like, people get too salty. Because I remember even when I was playing MK11 with the guy, he would be angry if I used brutalities. And I'm explaining to him, dude, I worked so hard to get these brutalities. I like to use them and see them. It's nothing personal. It's like, no, we're supposed to be having good games, but these are not good games when you're using brutalities. I'm like, okay, these are not good games if you're throwing fans with Kitana. I'm like, dude, Kitana throws fans. What am I supposed to do?
Walk forward.
Walk forward and don't throw fans. Yeah.
Walk forward.
Yeah. That's definitely true. You'll find some characters in the FGC, and I feel like, especially when the FGC is still young and very unstable, that's where you have these fluctuating opinions where people come in strong and then they run away and then they sometimes come back and sometimes they don't. I don't know how you can build anything on top of that one. And yeah. No, it's true. It's like, I don't know how you can build something on top of that. And it's sad, especially from maybe the angle of us trying to organize things for people. It's like, all you have to do is show up. That's literally the only thing I ask, is just exist, be alive. I will do everything else. And even that is too much for people. So with that kind of mindset, I don't know how we could ever go far. I remember last month when I was telling the guys, like, yo, I want to make this online lobby for people. And that's when me and you, Sasori, started talking again for the first time again. And after you had explained to me the situation in Harare and like the mindset of some of the players, in my mind I remember thinking to myself, like, if the main issue or the main incentive is money, because economic problems in Zimbabwe, people are chasing money. I understand that people want money. But coming from the side of the organizer, someone who's looking to make this opportunity for people, first you build trust with someone before you then start demanding money. It's like I would not mind.
I think also of
Before you continue, Jarvis, it's like I wouldn't mind. Part of the idea, like I had said initially when I pitched it, was like I wouldn't mind getting like vouchers and stuff like that for people, because I walk past stores that have these vouchers and things like that. For me, it's no issue. Maybe it's like 1 or 2 tournaments a month. Yes, fair and fine, it's coming out of my pocket, but it's nice to see that people playing and making a name for themselves. But then the main issue now is when the people are like from the very get-go, hey guys, this is me, I'm willing to host this tournament for you, and I'm willing to stream it for you, I'm willing to put it out there for you. I just need you guys to come, firstly, so that I can even see who's interested. Let's see who's interested. Let's see the skill that's there. Those who need help in terms of training and stuff like that, then let's talk about it. Add me on Steam, let's play. I don't mind. I'm here for everyone. And then you explain to me what people are thinking like. Then it's like, but guys, I don't even know you. And it's already like, where's the money? And it's like, let's get to know each other. Let's build that trust. Let's build this thing. Then when I know who's here and who's serious, then I know how to push you guys in terms of like, come to the tournament, and then I can push your content. I can make your name something somewhere. Then we can start talking about money, because now we have a purpose, we have a direction. But before there is purpose or direction, people are already making demands. But it's like, guys, I know it's Zimbabwe, I know things are tough, but I don't even know your name. How can I already start giving you prizes? I don't even know your first name. You know what I mean? That's how I felt like when I responded, why I was so disappointed. I was like, you don't know me, I don't know you, but it's like there's already a demand for a certain thing. It's like, but okay, what about me? If you are demanding something from me, then surely I must then demand something from you. But people weren't even willing to pitch up. The bare minimum, just to be in the lobby. They were not even willing to do that. But I was supposed to provide. Then it's like, oh, it's not a good look. So I feel like that type of hunger for money or hunger for some prize is, I believe, a result of this unstable life that people are living. When your day to day is a hustle, you look at everything with the eyes of a hustler. You're not even looking to see if what could be. Okay, let's give it time, let it grow. No, from day one, where's the hustle? Where's the money? What is this giving me? Is it giving me anything? If it's not, I'm out. And it's like, I don't think that's how you build relations. I don't think that's how you build relations. So at that point, that's why I was just like, this issue goes much deeper than just people's personalities. People have been conditioned to think this way just because of the economic situation. Everything is now a hustle. Everything is now a hustle.
Sad.
Yeah.
It's sad, because the thing is, okay, fine, people can look at me as an outsider, like, okay, he left Zimbabwe and he wants to do this. He doesn't understand our struggle. But it's like, I was there for many years too. I know the struggle, and even in that struggle I was still trying to do these things for people. So my only ask was, let's just try. There's no guarantee, but with effort we can do something. Just give it a chance. But the hustle mindset is like, from day one, if I'm not getting nothing, I'm out. Then it's like, I don't know, what can I do? I'm not a billionaire. I'm not Red Bull. I cannot just come and host a whole tournament for people and give them prizes for nothing. I am not Red Bull. But at some point, Red Bull was one building. At some point, Red Bull was one guy with an idea. That's how things begin.
They also had to start somewhere. The thing is, people are not willing to start, because you came up with a good idea. There have been people who've also come up with ideas, but have left very early because they realize that the community is messed up. People will just talk but never show up. You know, the whole like you were offering people a platform, right? There's about 2 other guys who came and tried to offer platforms. They would host tournaments, not may charge people to play. People do not show up because there's no prize money. People would refuse to come because there's no prize money. Then of course they offer prize money, and then they give like maybe they tell people that it's like entrance fee, you know, this amount of money to enter. People complain about the entrance, but they want the prize money. And then another thing that also pisses me off about these tournaments, I don't know if it's something that's well, it all goes back to the community, well, to how people have been programmed to be hustlers. You get people throwing fights in tournaments, so that like it usually happens in the finals. I've noticed it happen a lot. I don't know if it happens in blues, but I know it happens a lot in Harare. People talk to each other, and they're like, "Dude, yeah." Like you can win this tournament, but we're sharing the money. You can take the medal, I'll take this other prize, but we're sharing the money. Instead of actually having a competitive set, people decide to fake it,
Split the spoils.
which I think kind of sucks as well.
Isn't that betting?
It kind of is, because I've seen it too many times now, bro.
That's betting, bro. Now why hitting the side effects, bro, of betting?
So because after that you don't. Also, these guys who host tournaments, for some weird reason, they always forget to record the tournaments.
They're not recording.
Most of the tournaments I've gone to, even the one with the comic sports guys,
Yeah.
they've never recorded tournament. There's never any footage of this guy was the champion or this is what happened.
What?
There's one I won last year. There's a tournament I won last year. They didn't record. They also didn't record. And what else happened? Yeah, they didn't record, and they couldn't even like take footage of the winner.
Man,
So
that's
you win, but they host the tournament and it's fine and fair, but then what? You
Was
know?
it the Steel Series item? The one when you won the Steel Series?
Yes, it was that one. You noticed there was no footage of that.
Yeah. They just took
Yeah.
a picture of you and it wrote your name and that's it.
Exactly.
They're like, get the hell out of here.
And I think they even misspelled my name or something.
oh
on
no.
Yeah. And I was just like, but seriously though.
Yeah, there's a
But
lot.
yeah,
Mm.
the people who have been taking the initiative, they're not gamers like you are. So for them, it's just something they're trying out to see if it's gonna pay off eventually. And if it does pay off, they'll be in the right spot, right place. But they quickly give up because they see that the attendance is low, and people will not really pitch up if there's no what incentives.
Yeah. No, it's a very deep set mindset, and it goes far. It's the similar thing that like I used to complain about with like how some Zimbabweans think, where it's like, oh, life is so tough. No, it's okay. God will find a way. It's like I think even God is tired of listening to you not doing anything about it and just oh God, you know what I mean? It's like it's time for people to step up somehow. The things of money and economy, they're not getting better, so it's like we can't wait forever. So I don't know, I felt like this was necessary to talk about, but I feel like there's a billion things that that could be talked about individually. We're pushing an hour 30. Maybe I'll take any last sentiments from each of you, and then we'll call it an episode for now. We can push another one in another week. But for example, D2, out of everything we've said and your experience in this esports situation in Zimbabwe, what are your final thoughts? What good or what bad, anything?
Well, my final thought is it's not about the money, it's about the community. For instance, like us, the coach, there was a bunch of people who are not gamers, they just love the scene. Some were gamers, some were musicians, some were just daily workers. We all just thought about coming to a place we can join and help each other make games. That's how all the footage got made. So at the end of the day, it's just people helping each other for a bigger picture. That's the only thing that we need.
Yeah.
It's not about food. Because even if one of us had fiber optic, there's gonna still be an excuse. So I think at least if there's a large number of people working together, you can make something big with very little effort.
Yeah.
Rather than the other way around, than having like 2 billionaires that want to jump out. You get the prize pool, but then the scene will disappear as fast as it came.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's funny, we call it a gaming community, but there's no community. That's the part that people seem to tend to forget, is that part of the words gaming community is community. And
like for us,
yeah, go
for
ahead.
like Sasori's side, imagine if they'd maybe called you, if everyone was linked together, they would have called you, guys, can you please come and be overseeing the organizing of the footage and all that. That would have helped a lot, but we're too divided.
Yeah, it's true. Too much division. Not enough people willing to just help. It's like the main issue is the expecting a reward part. In my years trying this in Bulayo, everything I did I never asked for anything in return. All expenses that I incurred were on me, and really I never asked for any money or anything. It was for people to have some chance to do something. We succeeded in some things, we failed in some things. It's life. But I feel like sometimes if you really want something, you might have to sacrifice for it. And I feel like a lot of people aren't willing to sacrifice anything. But
It's not
but
even
they
that
want.
much, bro.
Yeah, of course it's not that much. Like we're saying with the lobby last month, it's just connecting into the game and being in the lobby. No money, no nothing. But then of course people can say internet and all these other things. I remember, for example, KW King used to like, I need to take part in a tournament, but I don't have internet. Then I would say, bring your stuff to my house and connect in my room. You know what I mean? I will turn off my computer. You can connect there, and then we do your tournament. When you're done, we reconnect my stuff, no problem. So it's just a matter of helping. But I guess that's where the egos come in and stuff like that. Any last words or sentiments from you, Sasori?
Oh, okay, just one. I just wish people could like put their egos aside and then realize that it's about building the community. Dude, we've been at this for about how many years now?
Bruh, for
Almost 4
me,
years.
since 2016. On my side, yeah.
2015, some of us.
It's so much time that if the community had been united, we could have been somewhere right now.
Yeah. Just
So it's just sad that we never putting any steps forward. But I'm glad that at least Red Bull happened, because what happened with Red Bull, right? When I saw that there was gonna be a tournament and stuff, I actually was like, I pushed people. I literally pushed people, guys, this is the time for you to show that this actually is a Zimbabwean scene. This is a free tournament. So you have to make sure something happens. And then people actually, for once, people were united and they made movements. But afterwards, we were supposed to make other movements, but things then just slowed down.
They slowed down very hard, and I can agree with you on that one. I remember during that time I didn't have Street Fighter 6 yet, and I was like, after I saw these things happening, I was like, this is the spark that's going to start the fire. You know what I mean? That's how I thought. I was like, this is it. This is, if people don't wake up at this point, I have no idea what's going to happen. That very same month, let's see. Yeah, it was July. That very same month of July, I asked some people back home to take some of my money and give it to some guys, because I wanted people to get their own copies of Street Fighter 6. So I was like, I can't buy copies for people. But it's like, okay, you, how much money are you short? Oh, I'm short, I don't know, $10. You, how much are you short? Oh, I'm short $20. You know what I mean? I put some money together, what I could, And then I got the money into the hands of those people, because those people were like the center points of different groups of people. So it's like, at least if that one guy has the game, he's always chilling with those 5 other guys. So that means at least as the 6 of them, they'll play. That guy is linking up with 7 other people. That guy is linking up with 3 other people. So it's like, if I can get 3 people to have their copies, they can affect the people around them. I did that. King comes back from the kumite. I'm thinking, fine, I've done what I could. Now the guys have the game. Now they're fighting to get the downloads happening. They get the downloads happening, and then nothing happened. And that was it.
So they got the game and then did nothing.
Guys are still meeting up to play. You know what I mean? The Bulawayo guys, they're still meeting up to play. But it's like, for example, when I was there, as much as people were playing, I would always be like, okay, let's have an event. Let's have a tournament. Let's make some footage. Let's do some first to 10. Let's do this. Let's do that, right? None of that has happened. This is the one time I will criticize Bulawayo and say, I was not Bulawayo. Everything I did can be done by anyone else, if not better. So why are people not continuing where I left off? I understand people have personal issues, but it's like, guys, I had personal issues too. I am not Superman. I'm pretty fucked up individual, but I still manage to do these things. But I leave and then no one does anything. You know what I mean? So it's like, I've helped people to get the game. People now have the game. Do something with that opportunity. King went to Kumite, he came back. Then fair and fine, he had some politics against him. Apparently non-South Africans, if they were to go to any CPT events in South Africa, they don't get points. That's fucked up. It's really fucked up.
Oh yeah, this coming one, yeah, you have to be South African, otherwise you won't be allowed.
That's really fucked up. But knowing this, then it's up to Zimbabwe to make their own thing. So at least in Bulawayo, we are not the whole country. But at least if you have 2-3 events, people come, even if it's the 5 of you or the 10 of you, you play to the best of your ability. And I'm really confident in some of the guys there. You make 1 or 2 videos, you spread that online and be like, look, one of our guys went to Kumite, there he is, you can see him, he's on the Red Bull YouTube page. If you go to this video, our Zimbabwean guys are there. There they are. Here is more footage. Guys in SA, please, can we join? Or can we at least play in your online tournaments? I'm sure they'll say yes. If they have some proof that you're serious, I'm sure they'll say yes. But no one's doing that. I don't know why. I don't know why. There's nothing I did that could not have been done by anyone else. But it's sacrifice. That is what people are not willing to do. So I don't know. It's a very big thing. I'll add these last 2 cents. This is for Sasori to know. D2, you can mute your headset. Sasori, before I left Zimbabwe, I even left my microphone and mixer to the 2 guys in this chat right now. I do not know if that microphone has ever been used since I left it. I'll just leave that there. Those are my last 2 cents. I do not know if that mic was ever used since I left. The whole thing. It was an old mic though. It's like it was a condenser mic and stuff with a mixer. It was pretty old, but it still kind of worked. It's like, can it do something? Can it do something? You know what I mean? If not, can it be used for anything? Because that mic was the center of our community. That mic was the voice of the cold room. All the commentary you heard in all of our videos was through that mic. Come rain, come thunder, come the mic is sounding terrible, or it's not working, or it's working today. That was the one mic. It's still there. Let it be used. Because that is all a tournament is. It's just a voice for the people. No one cares what you're playing on, whether it's Xbox or PlayStation. When I'm watching, I don't know, Shao Kahn beating up Johnny Cage, I don't care what joystick you're using, whether it's Xbox or PlayStation. I just want to see you play. I want to hear what the commentator has to say. That's all I care about. True. Yeah. So people just need to do anything. King got the Red Bull experience. He came back to Bulawayo. I don't know what he did with that experience. Did he try educate people about something? Did he show people anything interesting that he saw there? Did he bring anything home? You know what I mean? Not even physical, intellectual. Did he learn?
Yeah.
Did he learn something? And what he learned, did he bring it back home and share it with anyone? Or did he just come back home? These are the things. So that's it. That's it. These are the things. Problems will always be there. Always. I moved to Europe. Oh, Europe, the place where dreams happen. I am still having problems here. Problems will always be a part of life. Doesn't mean you just lay back and do nothing. You do something. So I feel like there's still some chance, you know what I mean, that Red Bull is now maybe a distant memory, but people still remember it happened. I don't know.
They do.
I don't know what miracle can happen, but if someone just were to try something, just try anything at this point, it could revive that interest that was there, because everyone had this like, oh, finally new game, new events, Red Bull comes out. Oh, the game is actually quite nice. Right now, there's even MK. MK may have its issues, but it's still got that new game hype. I haven't heard anyone from Zimbabwe upload anything. Like in terms of, I mean, like not personally. I mean, like an event. Like guys, we've got MK. Come, the 5 of us or the 10 of us. Let's just play. Let's just anything. Doesn't even have to be fancy.
Guys.
It doesn't even have to be fancy.
I wanted to do a tournament, but then people are like, you played the beta, so you're ahead of us, so we need at least a month or something.
Oh
and
my word.
People are afraid right now, honestly. Yeah. I'm being for real. And it's not like I even
Sonic Fox and Ninja Killer maybe a late, but those guys also played like what is it, 2 days or 3 days into what on the beta, and they had scrap combos. I'm sure we can still come up with the good combos within 3 days. You don't need a month for that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. Okay, maybe offer them this. This is something you can do as an experiment. Offer them the same tournament you wanted. Don't play in it. Just host it. Tell them, no, I'm not playing. Let all the people who didn't play in the beta come and play. It's even ground. You all got the game day one.
Yeah, they still won't come.
I am not going to play because I've got this advantage over you guys. I'll just host it. If they still,
I can try that, but
yeah. I was saying if they still say no, then it might be time to look for new players.
Trust me, I've been looking for new players because for the majority, most of the people who are in that group, I'm the one who actually found like a lot of them and introduced a lot of them to each other. Then then people started finding each other, you know.
Yeah.
But like the core group, I found most of those people and I introduced them to each other. Most people would tell me, hey, there's this guy, he also does gaming, because everybody like knew me as a guy who's into gaming. Girlfriends, people from church, people from work, like people from my hood. Every time, you know, I'm always known as the guy who's into gaming. If they ever run into anyone who's a gamer, they'll be like, dude, he also likes games, and we start talking.
Yeah.
So it's like, so far those are the people that I found that are in these groups. I have been trying to find other people. I went to this Otaku Con. I found people who are interested in becoming. They're still noobs, but they're interested. Some were quick to give up, but I found some guys who look like they could be the future if they just lab a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe, because the new guys are a bit not the new guys, the old guys. Sad to say, it's life. The economy is not conducive enough for people to game as they would like to. So guys will be like, dude, I don't have time to learn all of this because I'll be at work. and I can't do all this because of that. That's the excuse that's usually used when you beat someone. They'll be like, well, you're playing the game all the day. I'm at work, so obviously you're going to beat me. And I'm like, no, it's not like I play every day.
Yeah.
And it's not like I actually don't have a job or anything. I have things that I do, but I play. I mean, freaking, I know a guy who has a full-time job and a family, and he plays and he wins. There's even this SA guy, but then when I told them about JPM, they were like, no, it's the guy is in SA, so SA has got a better, which is true. SA has got a better economy, so people can afford to sort of do that. But he has a full-time job and a family.
Yeah. But I mean, like, even in the Harare community itself, if people are going to argue about time, but if you are to look at maybe the top names, I believe Gift also has, for example, a full-time job and a family to take care of. I believe Abdul has a full-time job and people to take care of. I don't think those are the only two people as well. There are a lot of people in Harare who are hustling every day and have people to take care of, but they're still winning.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's what I always say, that, hey,
I
you
travel.
can...
Yeah,
a
so
lot,
Smooth Jarvis
now-
is always moving around looking for work, trying to get contracts and stuff like that. Goes home once a month, but he's still playing the game. He's trying his best and he's still winning sometimes. So it's like, what? Yeah, so
just excuses that we need to get, like, we need to remove, that need to be removed. People should just, like, because our FGC Zimbabwean guys are pretty, honestly speaking. I think Red Bull proved that. You saw how far Sonic and KW King went.
Yeah.
Like, with more practice they could have actually done more. And now imagine if our community was such that people were always meeting up and practicing, like maybe two times a week, or at least 3 times a week, during the whole online experience, or just playing each other on offlines. That's how you learn the game.
Yeah, that's true.
But people, once one person pulls ahead and starts getting better than showing more aptitude towards the game than the others will start being like, nah, I'm going back to FIFA, or yeah, I'm no longer available, you know?
Yeah. That's the very sad reality of things. Smooth Jarvis, any final words to close this one out, man? If Smooth Jarvis is still here. Oh no. I'll just add the last words in Smooth Jarvis's name. Smooth Jarvis has been a guy over the past couple of years who's had to really make a plan when it comes to putting food on the table. He's the type of guy who's getting contract work out in the rural areas, out in the remote areas, all these different jobs, very difficult jobs, living in places sometimes that are just not so nice to live in. And he's the type of player who's, where it's like you only see him finally back home once or twice in a month. And even during those times, he's still having to do some things. But when he gets the time to then play, he makes the most of that time. Same guy who would participate in ACGL tournaments. Same guy who would participate in our own, homegrown tournaments offline. Same guy who would be scoring very highly in Mortal Kombat games and Injustice 2. So for those who say it's about time and providing, this is a guy who literally has to leave his home. He's not even sleeping in his bed. He's somewhere out in the bundus trying to make money. Comes back once or twice here or there in a month. Gets to play on one occasional weekend or one occasional day. And he has to then go back to work. But he's still got the passion. He's still trying. He never gave up even once. So it's not really about time. So if anyone who's listening said it's about time, it's not about time. If you have passion for something, you make it work. There are some people, this is just video games. There are some people like we're talking about, full-time job, raising children, in a family, are married, all these different things, but they still have a hobby or passion that they're pursuing and they're making the most of it, whether it's an artist or someone singing, trying to make music or carpentry or whatever, you name it, sculpting, whatever, writing a book. They still have their things that they need to do every day, but they still find that time To close it out, I always used to hate when people say like, oh, sorry I never got back to you on such a particular day, I just didn't have time. I would then always ask, you couldn't even find 5 seconds to say, sorry I'm busy, maybe tomorrow. There is always time. What matters is the priorities. That's the thing. Everyone has enough time. 24 hours is actually a premium amount of time in a day for everyone. What are your priorities as the players in the community and for the people trying to build the community? What is the priority? And for those who then have something to complain about, ask yourself, why exactly are you complaining and what have you done about it? I feel like that is a lesson that most Zimbabwean players need to learn. If you are dissatisfied, why are you dissatisfied and what have you actually done in that situation? If you've answered nothing, then chances are you are the problem. So, thank you for everyone who's been listening to this one, and hopefully we'll see or hear from you in the comment section. Please share this video, especially if you're in the Zim FGC. Share this video, let people listen to this, and hopefully we'll see you again next time with another topic. Thank you Sasori, thank you D2, thank you to Smooth Jarvis, thank you to KRW King, thanks to everyone who's been featuring in these, and we'll see you next time.